Unless I see some news that dramatically changes the situation, I will continue to... Alright, welcome to Talking Investing. I am Tom. This is not financial advice. We're here to talk about all things investing, and I want to do a video today on a company called Workhorse. Stock ticker WKHS. So Workhorse is an electric vehicle manufacturer, and they had a pretty substantial news release about a week ago that I want to go through. So I want to go through that news release, and then I want to look at the chart and a few other things. I think there's a very big opportunity here in Workhorse. It's currently trading at its 52-week lows, and it's been beaten down severely. So let's take a look at what they're doing, and I'll give you my thoughts. This was on September 30th. It's now October 8th, so just a little over a week ago, they issued this press release. Workhorse Group announces executive leadership appointments. I'm going to go through what they did, and you will see it as a substantial shakeup. A shakeup almost isn't even the right word. They pretty much replaced management in this company across the board. Rick Dauch took over as the new CEO on August 2nd, so it's been a couple of months now, and I think he's done assessing what he's assessing, and he's made a lot of decisive actions. People may like them or not like them, but he's been very active since he got there. And at this point now, he's pretty much switching out most of his management team. So I want to go through and show you guys what they're doing. Greg Ackerman, Workhorse's corporate controller, has been appointed interim chief financial officer. Greg is going to serve as an interim chief financial officer. They will be doing a search to find the full-time replacement. Jim Harrington has been appointed the company's chief administrative officer, general counsel, and secretary effective August 16th. Josh Anderson has been appointed chief technology officer. This is a newly created role responsible for managing and overseeing the development and implementation of Workhorse's advanced technology into its products. So this is a new officer position. So that is another officer of the company, the Chief Technology Officer. Jim Peters has been named Vice President of Purchasing and Supply Chain effective September 1st, and he'll report directly to Rick Dauch. So this is a high-level position, not an officer, but a very high-level position in the company that's being replaced. Dave Burke, and pardon my pronunciation if that's incorrect, has been appointed Vice President of Product Development. So again, not an officer, but a very high-level position. Rob Willison, Chief Operating Officer, has left the company effective immediately. The company is eliminating the role of Chief Operating Officer. So they're completely eliminating the Chief Operating Officer. So you can see this is not only several new people coming in, several existing people leaving, it's also a bit of a reshuffling of how the corporate structure is going to work in this company. So it is clear that, right or wrong, after a couple of months of looking, Rick Dauch did not like what he saw in the management structure, and sometimes this is what it takes. So time will tell whether he's made good decisions here, but I appreciate the fact that he has been extremely decisive, and these are big moves. And this is a giant shakeup, which is not easy to do. However, he does not have years to waste to try to see if he can move this company slowly in the right direction. It is clear that he decided these people were moving in the wrong direction. They most likely had a philosophical difference on how to run this company. And as the new CEO, it has to be his way because it's his job on the line. And so these are the actions that he took. So this is... it's kind of a mundane press release, but it's actually a very major shakeup at the company. So the stock has been getting beaten up since this came out. Change makes people nervous, but sometimes change is necessary. I believe that this is one of those times. Again, this is not financial advice. These are my thoughts. I happen to agree with what he's doing here. You guys got to look at the facts and decide for yourself whether you think these are good moves or not. Having said that, I want to move on to a conversation about the stock itself. The first thing I want to look at, and I don't want to stress this, but right now, Workhorse is the second most shorted stock in the stock market. Here's Workhorse Group. They're down 69% year to date, so they've been decimated, and almost 40% of the float is shorted. That's astronomical. So at this point, you will see when we get to the chart basically this company is trading as if it is going out of business. So to me, this is one of those where you got to make a decision. Do you think they're done? If so, stay away. But if you don't think they're going out of business, this price level is incredible. So obviously it's a high risk reward here, and you have to decide whether you believe that new management is going to do what it takes to get this company up, producing and delivering vehicles. Before we go to the Workhorse chart, I want to show you a different chart. This is Workhorse's market cap over the last year. So basically, just to reinforce what we just talked about, Workhorse had traded up to as high as a $5 billion market cap. Now, that was probably unrealistically high. Having said that, if you look in here, they were in the $2 billion range. Back here again in the $2 billion range. Over here in the $2 billion range. And now they've been on a steady slide. They are now down to $770 million market cap. So that is a gigantic, massive reduction. It would take a triple just to get back to this $2 billion that seems to have been a line of support for them, until recent developments. Okay, so last thing, this is just real time. We are in the middle of the trading day. It's 12:20 on Friday the 8th. So intraday, Workhorse is now down another 4.05%. It's trading at $6.10, which you'll see its 52-week range is $6.08 to $42.96. So this is, again today, has hit its 52-week low, which is a common theme for this stock recently. That leaves them at a market cap of $761 million. Again, we looked earlier in the year, they were over $5 billion. So, massive reduction in market cap. Okay, now let's go to the chart for real. All right, I'm going to start out with a very zoomed out picture of this chart. This is basically 1 year. Last November, they traded up to about this $30 yellow line. Then they had some big news. They thought they were getting a giant contract with the United States Postal Service, and they skyrocketed up to $43, this yellow line right here. So that did not work out. So they kind of meandered down to $30 and then just shot right down back into the $15 range when it was determined they were not going to get that contract. So what I want to do is zoom in. Let's forget about $43 and $31. To me, in the short term, meaning the next 12 months, I don't think those price targets need to even be discussed. So I'm going to zoom in. So now we're looking at a chart from June through October 8th. So this is about 4 months. So you'll see several times it did hit. I have a blue line at $18.62. It did hit that, here, and as late as June 28th. However, we took pretty much a straight line down from there down to this $10.70 line. So we traded up and down a little bit from between July 15th through August 5th. We then broke that line and kind of went straight from $10.70 down to $9. Retested $10, went back to $9. $9 did not hold, went down to $8. Went sideways and then went down to $7. Retested $8, and then since basically September 27th, which was 2 weeks ago, it's been a straight line down. So let's zoom in again, because I also want to take this $18.62 line off the table. Even though they were just there 4 months ago, I don't want to consider this as a price target. So this is basically from the beginning of August through the first week in October, so just over 2 months this chart represents. So you will see a top line here at $10.70. As we discussed, we went from 10 to 9. We retested 10. And pretty much, I'm just going to say that since this retest of 10, it's been pretty much a straight line down to its all-time low, which I think was $6.08 earlier today. Looks like we're at $6.09 right now. I'm going to zoom in one more time. So this is basically the last couple of weeks. And the reason I want to do that is I'm going to add a line to the chart right now. I think that we are at, we tested this spot on October 6th, And this is now October 8th. We're testing it again. You know, it almost looks like it wants to break below that. I'm going to put a line right there as temporary support. I'm hoping that we can hold this line. Now, it is entirely possible we keep going down. You saw that the trend on this one has been down pretty much in a straight line for the last 4 months. So I don't want to declare this the all-time bottom, but for the moment, it looks like we've tested this a couple of times over the last few days. This is the 52-week low. So yeah, maybe there's some more downside. So for me, as somebody who's already invested in this stock, I think this is a great opportunity to dollar cost average in. And, you know, obviously I hope that this is the bottom, but if it's not, I may have another opportunity to dollar cost average in again. Because, again, I want to go back to the conversation that at $6, at a $760 million market cap, at a 40% short interest, this company is priced to go out of business. Are these guys going to go out of business, or are they going to survive? So I will be averaging in again today. Unless I see some news that dramatically changes the situation, I will continue to dollar cost average in until their next earnings report. Because the new CEO, Rick Dowk, said that he would give us a full update at the next earnings report. So you can see he's been extremely busy. They've made massive changes. If you watch my last video, you'll see they made a series of dramatic changes before this, including recalling the 41 vehicles that they had already delivered, and they're going to make improvements to those. They're going to recertify the safety of the vehicle, and they're going to increase the payload capacity of the vehicle. Not financial advice, but for me, I am a buyer on this one. This is a buy and hold until I see a reason to change my mind. This is a long-term buy and hold because I'm looking at this on the first sign of any positive news. I'm looking for a 90-day price target to get back up to $8. I mean, $8 was a very low price for this stock. So that's my short-term, 60 to 90-day price target. I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't know if that's going to happen in the next 60 to 90 days. I don't know how long it's going to take for this to correct, if it does at all. So this one's a risky one, but for me, it's a buy. Those are my updated thoughts on Workhorse, and we will see you in the next video. Thanks.